ಸೊ ನನ್ನೆ ನಾವು DPSP ಹಾಗೂ DPSP ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ DPSP. ಲೈಕ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ DPSP. So today we will read about all the articles that are mentioned in the directive principle of the state policy. Okay, so the main, so we know DPSP has been taken from the Irish Constitution. Okay, so ಈ Irish Constitution ಇಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಿವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪುಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 4 ಆಫ್ ದಿ Indian Constitution. Okay, so DPSP are present from the article 36 to from article 36 to 51. Okay, so ishtralli DPSP idave. Then again the major objective. So the major objective of DPSP is to achieve a welfare state. Welfare state is nothing but ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಈ DPSP ಅನ್ನು ಇದಾವೆ. Okay, so welfare state. Then one more objective it is in achieving the socio and economic democracy. So socio and economic democracy is nothing but reducing the social democracy is nothing but reducing the distinguishes or reducing the discriminations that is present in our society. Say we have different distinguishes. We have a caste discrimination or gender discrimination or place discrimination. So such kind of difference is there. In order to make everyone as a equal in our society, we have a social democracy. Again, economic democracy is the one where the reducing the economic disparities that is present in our society. So the economic disparities includes the income, wealth, as well as the property. Okay, so we all know there is one report says that nearly 50% of the wealth holds by the top 1% of the citizens. So in order to reduce such disparities, we need to achieve a concept of an economic democracy, where in the society everyone is given an equal opportunity to empower themselves. So the major objective of DPSP is to make welfare state as well as the socio-economic democracy. Then again we told it is similar to the instrument of instruction that was present in 1935 Act. Okay, this instrument of instruction was mainly given to the Governor General of India or the Viceroy of India and the Governor General of that respective provinces and the British administration. So this constitutional instruction or the instrument instructions were prevalent only to this functionaries. But whereas after independence we acquired independence at 1947. Post to that we made this as an instruction to the executive, legislative as well as the administrative functionaries. So these are the constitutional instructions. So these are the constitutional instruction to the executive, legislative and the administrative functionaries or administrative personnel. So this is. Then one more thing we told, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar told DPSP as the novel feature of the Indian Constitution. Why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar told it is a novel feature of the Indian Constitution? Because these are unique in the Constitution. Because this will give a direction to the government representatives or to the government officials to act or to bring a laws or to bring a legislative reforms that benefits to the ultimate of the citizen. So why it is a novel feature? It is mainly to guide to the representative or to the administrative function so that they can carry the administration in accordance with Constitution and in accordance with the welfare of the citizens. So these are the few of the objectives of DPSP. So we will look to the each article. Okay, so I have told what type of questions comes from the directive principle of the state policies. One is they may ask articles, the objectives, and other one is the constitutional amendment that have brought into the DPSP. Okay, so DPSP are the guidelines. Okay, these are guidelines to state for establishing social and economic democracy. Here you should remove this one. Okay, so they have been borrowed from the Irish constitution and mentioned in part 4, and it is in 36 to 51. Then Dr. B.R. described as a novel feature of the constitution, and again this act as a soul of the constitution. They are non-justiciable in nature. So this also have discussed in yesterday's class. So non-justiciable in nature, we know. So they are fundamental in governance of the country. They aim at establishing the social and economic democracy. So this also we have more Irish constitution, moral obligation of the state, and to promote welfare concept like ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ DPSP ಇದಾವೆ. Okay, they help in a shaping public policy. So I told yesterday like DPSP are classified into three different subunits like socialist principle of DPSP, Gandhian principles of DPSP, then we have intellectual and liberal principle of DPSP. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನೆಸೆಸಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿ ನೋ, ಸಿ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 36 and 37. So Article 37 says about the definition of state. Okay, definition of state anna helutte. Okay, definition of state is nothing but the state includes the government organization which includes the parliament, legislature, or any organization that is created through the act or through a statutory organization by the parliament or the state legislature. Then such organization or such bodies will come under the definition of the state. So what we had read in the fundamental rights of the like 12 article 12, what we had discussed of definition of the state, here also same thing, article 36 and article 12 are almost correlated. That also says definition of state, and this also state about the definition. Then here Article 37 talks about this like DPSP are non-justiciable in nature. And one more thing is, this articles like the objectives of the fundamental or the principles of the DPSP needs to be implemented. So the application of DPSP says under the Article 37. So we'll look into the socialistic principle of DPSP. Okay, so here Article 38. So Article 38, the state shall promote the welfare of the people by securing the social order based on justice, social, economic and political. Here it is like the state welfare, Kalyana Samajannu nirmanstare. So, and again it will make a social order. Social order is nothing but justice, social justice, like achieving the social and economic political justice and the state should make a social, political and economic justice. Here social justice is nothing but reducing the caste or income or gender differences. Then economic justice is nothing but reducing the inequalities of property, inequalities of income, and the wealth. So reducing this three differences that is prevailing in the society, that comes under the economic justice. Then political justice is nothing but the government offices or the government institution that should be open to all the citizens, so that they can, like every citizen should have an opportunity to participate in the government organization. So the major objective of the political justice is nothing but it is opening of the government institution in order to make society as an equal. Okay, so this is Article 38. See, we know government has taken various measures in order to implement Article 38. See, we have 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, so that gives an one third reservation to women in Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, and Delhi and Puducherry State Legislative Assembly. ಈ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒನ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ act. So this is one of the measures from the government to make a society as a equal, as a justice, to make a justice principle. This is one of the measures has taken by the government. Then again we have, so we'll go into the article, that is Article 39. Article 39, it is about the adequate means of livelihood and equal distribution of resources and prevention of concentration of wealth. Okay, so e article the primary objective is nothing but it is to minimizing the inequalities. Mainly here it is talking about the economic inequality. Okay, so here the state shall ensure adequate means of livelihood. Idru artha ಏನಂದ್ರೆ state government, be it state government or be it the central government, will give an adequate measures or will give an opportunity to livelihood opportunities ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So we all know ಹಲವಾರು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವೇ ಟು give an livelihood opportunities by the state. And again we know we have MG Narega. Okay, so adannuve one of the means by the state to achieve the livelihood thing. Okay, so equal distribution of resources. So here equal distribution of resources, we have different types of taxation system. Okay, like we have regressive taxation system, we have progressive taxation system. So why this taxation is here? So that the higher, we have regressive taxation to the upper rich. Upper rich is the one who has the, who has a business annual turnover more than a 5 crore ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮೀರ್ತಾ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ, if their income is keep on increasing, then we have a concept of regressive taxation. Okay, as your income goes on increasing, even the taxation to the state also increases. So why we have why there is a more taxation to the upper classes? It is to make them, it is also one of the factor to make them as a equal. Okay, so that the principle of the concentration of the wealth is not withheld by the few classes of the citizens. So that is the reason we have a regressive taxation to the upper rich class, whereas the progressive taxation is nothing but where everybody is compelled to pay the taxes. Okay, so Article 39, it is mainly to to make mainly to achieve the objective of economic democracy. Then Article 39A. So this Article 39A has been added through the Constitutional Amendment of 42nd. Okay, so what they have made is equal justice and free legal aid to citizens to ensure justice for all. So here we know one of the principal organizations, that is NALSA anta Supreme Court alli ide. So what the main objective of NALSA is to provide a free legal aid to the certain section of the society. Who are those certain section of the society? The people who are economically backward, who are economically poor, whose income is less than the prescribed, less than the 5 lakhs or something. They'll come under the economically backward class. And again the women. Okay, so the women and the then transgenders, as well as the scheduled caste and tribes, they all can take the benefits of NALSA. Okay, NALSA is nothing but it provide a free legal aid. So why the government has inserted the Article 39A is mainly to make a legal justice as a affordable and accessible to all the citizens of the country. Okay, mainly the lower class of the backward class of the citizens, for them to make justice accessible, they have inserted the article 39A. So we know the government has taken measures under this article as well. Okay, again we have 41A. See, 41A, the state, here the state includes, be it the state government or the central government. The state shall provide the right to work. Right to work, I have told, MG Narega is one of the example where the government is providing an employment opportunity at a rural area to the unskilled workers. Okay, so this is one of the objective that government has achieved or it is trying to achieve. Then we know we have education. Then we have public assistance in case of unemployment and old age, sickness and disability. So education, we know we have bought one of the constitutional amendment, that is 86th constitutional amendment. Okay, what does it, the significance of this constitutional amendment is to make elementary education is compulsory. Okay, so this also has the government has taken a measures. And public assistance in case of unemployment is NG Narega. Old age, we have so many schemes like Arogya Karnataka irbodu, then Ayushman Bharat irbodu, then disability ge accessible to all, like public places accessible to all anta ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So, and we have a reservation to the disabled citizens also. So the government has taken various measures even under this article 2. Okay, so article 42, the article 42 here says about the state shall ensure the just and human condition of the work. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಸ್ಥಳ ನಮಗೆ that should be healthy and that should be that should give us a wisdom to work at that place. So the government has taken one of the measure, maternity benefit act ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು, like the woman should be given a 6 months of leave during her maternity period ಅಂತ one of the thing that government has taken. And one more is, in order to protect the dignity of women or to security of the women, we have the state government has bought the Vishaka guidelines anta ಒಂದು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So article 42 it is about the wherever you are working, the place should be congenial to the personal working there. So again 43 it is about the living wage and decent standard of living. Here living wage is nothing but ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇತನ, ಲೈಕ್ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ವೇತನ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ವೇಜ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ given by that respective work. So again 43A. Okay, the 43A shall promote participation of workers in the management of industries. Industries alli, so to make more healthy and to make more competitive and to make more efficient, the workers are made to more participate. Here we know we have skill India ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನೂತನವಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಥ್ರೂ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಮಿಷನ್ we have that scheme. In that scheme we can take a required skill. So this is one of the measure that is taken by the government of India in order to empower, in order to enhance the efficiency of the worker. Then again we have 47, article 47, the state shall raise the level of nutrition, standard of living and improve the public health. Okay, so here on this level of nutrition is nothing but this anemia mukt Bharat we have. Then we have a midday meal schemes there. So why the government is giving it is to make this to make the citizens of India more healthy, and there in order to make their more well-being, we have so many schemes. Okay, so like midday meals we have. Then again we have anemia mukt bharat ಇದೆ, TB ಮುಕ್ತ ಭಾರತ್, ಅದ್ಯಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 39 is important, and again article 47 is also important. Then next principle, we'll go to the next principle. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಕೇಳಿ. I think
No, ma'am.
okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, we will go to the next principle of Gandhian principle of DPSP. So Gandhian principle of DPSP is nothing but the values of Gandhiji, okay, has been incorporated into the DPSP. Okay, like Gandhian principle, non-violence is there. Then he advocated the Khadi ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Then he advocated for the rural development ಇದೆ. So what all he suggested, what all his ambitions were there for the empowerment of the country, that has been put into the DPSP. Okay, so here article 40 village panchayats. Okay, this village panchayats ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಇದು ಇದೆ, ಅವರು ಒಂದು ವಾಕ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮೋದಯ ಭಾರತ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ವಾಕ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಫ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್, ಇನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ರಿಕಾಲ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ we have bought 93rd constitutional amendment in order to empower the village panchayat. So this 93rd constitutional amendment, we know we have three divisions, that is gram panchayat, this is gram panchayat, this is taluk panchayat, then we have zilla panchayat. So in order to fulfill the objective of article 40, we have bought the 93rd constitutional amendment. So, and again there are many schemes that is empowering the villages, mainly the village panchayats. Okay, like recently Karnataka government has told like mandatory visit ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, be this district collector as well as the tahsildar and this assistant commissioner. This executive people has to mandatory every week they have to attend. Why they have to attend? So that they'll come to know, they'll come to know the ground reality of the villages. The other thing is the efficiency of the programs that is bought by the legislative body are implemented or not. So this is one of the step of the empowerment of the village panchayats. Then again we have article 43. Article 43 we have cottage and village industries. Cottage and village industries is nothing but say ಖಾದಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಲವಾರು ಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂತಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ DPSP is all about the there are some directives. Okay, there are some ಸೂಚನೆಗಳು ಇವೆ. ಆ ಸೂಚನೆಗಳಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ವೋಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯು, most of the time they won't ask you the article, but ಈ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೇ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ಗೆ 93rd ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಂಥವು ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್, ಅದು ಕೇಳ್ಬಹುದು ನಿಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ next article it is about the 46. Then here the state shall promote the educational and economic interest of the SC, STs and weaker section. So we know we have reservation. Okay, recently government of one of the constitutional amendment, that is 104 constitutional amendment ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ 104 constitutional amendment major objective is to extend the SC, STs ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ನು extend 2030 ವರೆಗೂ extend ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, so this is in order to fulfill this objective. Then again we have article 47. It is to prohibit the consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs injurious to health. So we know one of the measure andre if we go to movie theater there like ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಆರ್ ಗುಟ್ಕಾ ಆರ್ ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಈ ತರ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅದು ಮೂವಿ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವೈ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಅವೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ taking the intoxicant into your body. So that is also one of the way that fulfills the article of 47. Then again, Article 48, the state to prohibit the slaughter of the cows, calves, and other milch and draught cattle. So we know recently, halwaru state like UP government irbodu, they have bought some of the legislation to prohibit the slaughter of cows. Mainly, they have told like if you want to set up any slaughterhouses, they have to get a legal backings. You have to get a notice, like you have to get a certification from the prescribed authority that you have a slaughterhouse in the. So this is one of the objective that has been achieved under the Article 48. Then again we have liberal and intellectual principle of the DPSP. Okay, here see article E principle alli 40 is most important. The other one is 41 ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ ಯೂಶಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೇಫರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಿಬ್ರಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ intellectual principle of DPSP. Article 44. ಸಿ ಇದನ್ನಂತೂ ಪಕ್ಕ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 44 ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 1 year ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೂ ಇದು ಇತ್ತು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಯೆಸ್ಟರ್ಡೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಉತ್ತರಾಖಂಡ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಕೋಡ್. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಲೈಕ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಓಕೆ, so in order to bring uniform civil code we have article 44. This is most important. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಒಂದು most important. They may ask you. Okay, so uniform civil code, we know Uttarakhand is the first state that has bought the uniform civil code. Uniform civil code andre, see we have different family laws. Family laws includes like for Hindu law ide, Muslim laws, that is Muhammadian laws anta, different religious to different laws idave. So in order to make, they have to make a one law. See, Hindu law, we have Muslim law. So combining these two, we are making a one law. Okay, this codification of these two laws is nothing but Uniform Civil Code law. Uniform Civil Code law is combining the elements of all other religion, making them in a one part, or making them as a one legal document. So Uniform Civil Code. So this is an important concept, and this is one of the, in my opinion, the Uniform Civil Code should be implemented by all the states, because there are, the ambiguity of the various legislation will get reduced if they bring the Uniform Civil Code, and we can achieve the objective of the socio-economic democracy what has been enshrined under the DPSP. So let's hope let even our state also implements Uniform Civil Code, so that the citizens of the country enjoys the various provisions that is mentioned under the Uniform Civil Code. Even see various judgments like Supreme Court also has directed the way all the states to implement the civil code. Even Law Commission report ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸುಮಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಅವರು ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ವೆದರ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ವೇಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ದೆಮ್. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ Article 45. Article 45, it is to provide early childhood care and education for our children below 6 years. So we know we have what 86th constitutional amendment. ನಾನು ಪದೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಲೈಕ್ 93rd ಅಂತೂ ನಿಮ್ದಂತೂ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಏನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನಿಮ್ ಪಕ್ಕ 93rd ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ 97 ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ 94. This three article, then 86th. Okay, this and few of the constitutional amendment that has brought in the recent past. So like ಅದು 100 ಇಂದ 106th ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ don't forget it to read this thing. Then so we know we have 86 constitutional amendment where it says like taking care of the children or providing the elementary education up to the age of 14, from 6 to 14 years ವರೆಗೂ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ the state has a responsibility to take care of the children. Then we have Article 48. See, this is also one of the important article, but not that as compared to the 44 article. Okay, so the state shall organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines. So we know there are a lot of government schemes related to agriculture and animal husbandry. Like we have Organic India Mission, Sustainable Agriculture of India, agriculture mission on sustainable mission on agriculture. So halwaru schemes idave just to make. Then we have drone agriculture anta ondide. So we have lot many schemes. Nano urea, one of the recent that has been one of the recent advancement in the agriculture. So there are many schemes and development that is happening in and around the agriculture. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕವರ್ ವೆನ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 48A. Okay, the state, this is most important, see, because why it is most important? Recently Supreme Court has told right to clean air is also a fundamental right, and the government of India and the state has to take a measures to protect and the promote the environmental well-being. So we know the climate change and global warming has become a buzzword in our life. So in order to ensure that every citizens of India have a better environment, so the state government and the central government has taken various measures to protect our environment. Okay, so this is Article 48A. So 49A, the state shall protect the monuments, places and object of national importance. We know recently the Hoysala temple architecture has given a UNESCO World Heritage Site recognition. So this is one of the measures to protect our historical monuments. And if that particular historical monument is not that important, but it is important, not that important, the Archaeological Survey of India, okay, that will take some of the preventive as well as the curative measures to protect such historical monuments. Okay, now we have seen like Mysore Palace irbodu. So adella that all comes under the Archaeological Survey of India. It is protecting our historical monuments. So that is also one of the measures where our historical monuments are protected by the state. Then Article 50 we have. Here see, separation of powers anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, separation of powers is nothing but the executive, legislative and judiciary, okay, should be act independently. Okay, if they are acting integrated, but they should not be a conflict over with respect to their powers and duties. So here separation is nothing but a separation from their duties. Separation of who? That is by judiciary, executive and legislative. So separation of powers is under the Article 50. This is also one of the important article. See, this article is most important. Article 51 ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ 18 or 19 UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 51 ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಮೇಜರ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 51 ಇಸ್ the state shall promote the international peace, friendly relationship and respect for international law and settlement of the dispute by arbitration. So here mainly Article 51, it talks about the peaceful coexistence. Okay, peaceful coexistence with the other countries. So we know we have one of the constitutional amendment. We have in this constitutional amendment we have exchanged the territories between the India and Bangladesh. So I have already discussed in the chapter 2 of the Union and Territories, where I have told some of the enclaves. Okay, some of the enclaves of India were present in the Bangladesh, and Bangladesh enclaves were present in the Indian territory. So it was affecting to the Bangladesh bordering states like West Bengal, and also there was there was a constant migration from the Bangladesh to some of the northeastern states. Okay, so due to this one, there was constant ethnic conflict among the citizens of India with respect to that migrants. So at that time, the India exchanged the enclaves. Okay, exchanged the enclaves of Bangladesh to from India to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh enclaves to India. Like how you know this northeastern, I'll just tell you here it is a Bangladesh. Okay, so here few of the territories. Okay, few of the territories. So this is a part of Bangladesh. No, few of the territories were there in Bangladesh. This is Indian territory. So here few of the territories were there. These were of Bangladesh. So we exchanged this territory. Okay, so we exchanged this territory from Bangladesh. Why? In order to make a peaceful coexistence, in order to make a harmonious relationship um, with the Bangladesh. So this is one of the constitutional amendment that was bought through 2000, that was bought under the 100 constitutional amendment in 2015. I think they have bought it. So it in order to achieve this objective. Okay, so now we have discussed about the articles that comes under the DPSP. So now we'll look into the new directives, like what all the constitutional amendment or what all the additional constitutional amendment that has brought in the DPSP. Okay, here important ಅನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದು 97 ಇದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 42 ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ 44 ಈ ಮೂರು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. 86 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನೇನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 86 ಮತ್ತೆ 97. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a 42nd constitutional amendment. Okay, so this is bought during the Indira Gandhi time. So ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ 4 ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 39A. ಓಕೆ, 39A ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಏಡ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು. So here we'll go each constitution. This one, the Article 39. Okay, healthy development of children. Healthy development of children is say we have midday meal schemes. So that is one of the measures to improve the nutritional quality of the children. So this is one of the steps taken by the government to make the children more healthy and competitive. So they directed the state to secure the opportunities and facilities for the children's healthy development and protect them from the exploitation and neglect. So this is the one of the thing. Then again we have Article 39A. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 39A ಅಂತ, ಅಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್, ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್, ವೆನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ವಿಚ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಇದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು 42nd ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ 39A ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ 39A ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಏನು? ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಏಡ್. So I told about the NALSA concept. Okay, NALSA, it is in the Supreme Court. Central ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, Supreme Court ಅಲ್ಲಿ NALSA ಇದೆ. ಸಾಲ್ಸಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾಲ್ಸಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ, State Legal Service Authority. This is one of the objective that has been fulfilled and through the Article 39A. Then again we have Article 40. So this is not that important, but it is your convenience to remember. Then again we have 48, Article 48. We have ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಲೈಕ್ ನಡೀತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್, ವೇರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ 1972 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇನಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ವಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ, ಯು ನೋ, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪ್ನಿಂಗ್ ರಿಯಲಿ. ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅಂತೂ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಹೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಈವನ್ ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸಿವಿಯರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಬಾಟ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1972 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಮೂಲಕ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ so many legislative changes. Okay, so one of the such constitutional amendment is Article 48A. Okay, so we know, we have, see, one of the legislative thing that they have bought us, we have what is that, Wildlife Protection Act, we have Environmental Protection Act, we have like 1986 ಅಲ್ಲಿ Environmental Protection Act ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Then we have so many schemes related to environment. Project Tiger ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So this we have Project Elephant also. Why they have bought it? It is mainly to fulfill the objective of Article 48A, and also there was, you know, there was a lot of decline in the population of those species. Okay, there was a decline of the tiger population, so that is why they made a changes to the wildlife protection. Like they bought a wildlife protection act and they declared on a Project Tiger under this act. So they have they are fulfilling the objective of this one. Due to that reason, you know, we have up to 70% of the tiger population is located in India. Okay, so around 700 and like more than 750 tigers are there in India. For your exam point of view, like how much tiger are there in India, where all the tiger, you know, we have tiger, some tiger reserves we have. So we have 5 tiger reserves. ಅದು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ tiger reserves ಇದೆ ಅಂತ separate, like national park is different, tiger reserve is different, and wildlife sanctuary is different. So we should know all the tiger reserves and national park and some of the wildlife sanctuaries which are there in the news. So so that thing, and you should know one more thing is about elephant. So these are the constant thing that comes in the newspaper. Elephant, it is about more than 25% of the elephant population is located in India. Okay, the Bandipur Western Ghats to Bandipur region ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ more than 70% of the Karnataka's elephant population is located in that particular elephant corridor. So that elephant corridor anta ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So how many elephant corridors we have? So this is some of the things that you have to remember when it comes to environment. Okay, so that is why I told us, because the government of India as well as the state government has taken many measures to protect this environment and wildlife. Okay, then again we have 44th constitutional amendment. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ they have made only one changes. Okay, what is that? This is to minimize inequality in income, status and facilities. It is to income inequality. Okay, in income inequality we know Oxfam report. Okay, ಈ report ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ more than 50% of the wealth has held by 1% of the population. 1% of the population, the top notch rich persons idaralla, that 1% of the population is holding 50% of wealth. Okay, 50% of income, 50% of wealth has been held by that. So in order to reduce the income inequality, the government has taken various steps. Okay, various steps which includes the taxation system irbodu. So and again providing employment opportunities irbodu. And again, we have the Stand Up India scheme irbodu. So this all the schemes that has been bought. Stand Up India is mainly the government is giving in a concessional loans to the women and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities. Okay, so there are many schemes. Okay, that is taken by the government. Then we have one more concept like priority sector lending anta ide. Priority sector anta ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು priorities ಇದೆ. Say for an example, agriculture is a priority sector. Okay, if the person is taking a loan in an agriculture, they will have less interest rate. Okay, they will have less interest rate when compared to the person who is like the person who business man ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಯಾರು ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ interest level ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So this is also one of the step towards minimizing the income inequalities. Okay, so then we have 86th constitutional amendment. 86th constitutional amendment ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಂತು 2002 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 45 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಬಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ 14 ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಕೇರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ all the children until they complete the age of 6. Okay, so we know we have Anganwadi system. Okay, this Anganwadi system where the children are given a free food to the backward classes of the backward classes of the communities. Okay, so this is one of the step that has been taken by the government. So article 45 they have just modified. Okay, what they have modified, the early childhood care, whereas see in DPSP ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಪಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಹಕ್ಕುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ವೆರಸ್ 86 ಇನ್ DPSP ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಕೇರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ 6 to early childhood care as well as the education to up to the age of 6 to 14. Okay, so up to 6 years the early childhood care. Okay, early childhood care is nothing but the nutritional, okay, the nutritional well-being of the kids should be taken care by the state anta heltare. We know in Anganwadis they give a minimum of food requirement like they give some millets food irbodu. For this pregnant women they will give they will give some food to the those sections of the to the women also. Why it is to make them a healthy. Okay, so that the children of the age from up to the 6 years they should not become unhealthy. So polio is also one of the measure. Okay, where the polio is given up to 5 or 6 years in order to contain the polio virus. So this is also one of the steps taken by the state and the central government in order to make the children more healthy and competitive. And we know education, there is many schemes related to education. Then we have one more article which is most important for your exam. Why this is most important is because your this KMF comes under the cooperative. So they may ask article 97. Okay, so article 43, which article they have added? 43 they have added under DPSP. So it directs the state to promote cooperative society as a model of economic and social organization. So this is two things you should remember, where they have added 43B and in through 97th constitutional amendment. So when it came in 2011 it has came. So these are the some of the constitutional amendment that has brought under the DPSP. Then again we should know the differences between fundamental rights and DPSP. See, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಈ ಕೇಸ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮಿನರ್ವಾ ಮಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮಿನರ್ವಾ ಮಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ನಾನು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಡಿಪಿಎಸ್ಪಿ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದ್ರ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಸಿ, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ದಿ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ or some policies or some changes if the government is bringing, the changes should not given to only the fundamental rights alone or to the DPSP alone. It should balance between the fundamental rights as well as the DPSP. So here the balance and the harmony talks by the ಮಿನರ್ವಾ ಮಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ಲಿ. ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಸಿ ಯಾವ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇದು ಥರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ 12 to 35 ಇಯರ್ 36 to 51. ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಈ ಎರಡನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ್ದೆರಡು? ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್, ನಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ನನ್ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್, ನಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸಬಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಲಿಬರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಎನ್ಶೋರ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಸೋಶಿಯೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಸಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಸಿಯನ್ನ ಇದು ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ವೆರಾಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಸೋಶಿಯೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಸಿ. ಇದು ಎರಡೇ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಎರಡು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ DPSP. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್. ಈ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ, ದೆನ್ ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್, ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಮಿಟಿ, ಈ ಮೂರೇ ಕೇಳೋದು ನಿಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, DPSP ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಮೂರದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಖಂಡಿತ 2-3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, I don't think you can do you can perform better in all of the in most of the chapters of the polity, because this is most easiest to clear. This ಈ ಮೂರ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, DPSP, ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್, ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಕಿ ಏನಿರಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಬೇರೆದಿದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಗವರ್ನರ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್, ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಗವರ್ನರ್, ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಯಾವ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟು 4 ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ 3-4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ನಿಮ್ ಜೇಬಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ದಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ our duties. Okay, so we have we will have certain duties. Say for an example, as a woman, okay, she has, when she go after her work, she has a responsibility to take care, like she has a duty to take care of her family. Okay, like take care of her family in the sense to cook or to give an affection to her loved ones. So these are some of the duties. Why she needs to give a love and affection to her family? It is to make her home, or to make the home, to make the society more beautiful and to live in a more peaceful way. So these are some of the duties of the woman, okay, that she needs to perform. Okay, whereas some of the duties, I'm not just prioritizing, or I'm not doing a gender discrimination here. So I'm just generalizing you to understand duties from rights. Okay, right is nothing but rights. We are privileged. Okay, some privileges we have. Say for an example, if my father is say, I'll tell you an example. If my father is educating for my brother, okay, he's not prioritizing to my education. At that time I can question to my father that you should give equal importance to my education as how you are doing to my brother. So this is my privilege, this is my right that I'm demanding from my father. So whereas the duties is different. Duties is nothing but I should take care to my father. So my father should take care of me. So that's his duty. Okay, so privileges and duties, you should know the differences. So duties is why we have adopted. So I told fundamental duties with respect to the family. Okay, we should know fundamental duties with respect to our country. Okay, so we have different fundamental duties. Say we have a fundamental duty on to protect our to protect our environment. Why we have to protect our environment? So that we enjoy the we enjoys the clean air, or we enjoys the beauty of the nature. So if we protect the environment, so we can enjoy lot many things. So we have certain duties. We have some 11 duties where where the every citizen of India, if they perform, our society will live, or our country will live in a more harmonical and peaceful way. So that is why, in order to make our country more peaceful and to live in a harmony, the government in 1976 they have adopted the idea of fundamental duties. See, in enjoying the fundamental rights, the one should not forget our duties. Say when we go to some tourist place, some if we go to some historical place, at that time we should ensure that we are not we should not uh, we should make it clean. We should not pollute that particular area. Okay, if we pollute that area, that historical significance of that monument will get disturbed. So it is our duty as a citizen, so that we need to keep that particular area a safe and safety and also clean. So the fundamental duty of a citizen, the duty of a citizen of India is to make our society, to make our country a progressive and empowered nation. So we have adopted the idea of fundamental duties, and this fundamental duties we have borrowed from the Russian constitution. Okay, before it was in a USSR constitution anta ittu. So now ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ USSR ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪುಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋರ್ ಎ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ರೂ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ 42nd ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ see, it is mentioned only in one article, that is ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 51A ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ವರ್ಣ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸ್ವರ್ಣ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, 1970s ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಕಮಿಟಿಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರ ಬಂದು ಸ್ವರ್ಣ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ citizens of India should have certain duties ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ವಿಲ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ದಿ duties through the constitutional amendment of 42nd. So you should know this fourth thing. Okay, from adopted, borrowed. Okay, from where we have borrowed, the other one is under which part and through which constitutional amendment, and if it is in which article and through which committee. ಈ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ 86th ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಸಮ್ UPSC ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು KPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ KS ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ವುಮೆನ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಡಿಗ್ನಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವುಮೆನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎರಡು ಕೇಳ್ಬಹುದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. Then again, like protection of environment is also one of the fundamental duties that we can expect it, because we know so many environmental challenges are happening around the country. So that we can expect such questions in future. So I told, don't miss this thing. From where we have borrowed, that is we have borrowed from the USSR constitution, that is present day's Russian constitution, and this is mentioned in part 4A. Then it is through the constitutional amendment of 42nd. This 42nd constitutional amendment is nothing but mini constitution antanu ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, then again we have, it is under the article 51A. So we know 51 in DPSP, it is about the international peace and harmony ಅಂತ ಓದಿದ್ವಿ. So article 51A, it is about the fundamental duties. So it is adopted through the recommendations of the Swarna Singh committee. Okay, some of the things that you should remember. So we'll go to the some of the fundamental duties that each individual has to follow it. So fundamental duties were introduced by 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976. Swarna Singh Committee ಮೂಲಕ they borrowed from the USSR Constitution and incorporated in the Part 4 of the Indian Constitution under Article 51A. Initially 10 duties ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. Okay, later through 86 Constitutional Amendment for 2002 ಅಲ್ಲಿ one more duty and making 11 fundamental duties. See, these are non-justiciable in nature. So you should know fundamental duties are non-justiciable in nature. Say for an example, non-justiciable in nature ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ if you are violating your fundamental duty. Say if you are violating, if you are polluting your environment, the other person, he is not have a authority to approach to the Supreme Court or to the High Court. So non-justiciable in nature is if the duties are violated, the one is not necessary needs to approach the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court need not to give a writ or an order or a direction on the behalf of violation of the fundamental duties. So some of the fundamental duties will is, see, ಇಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೇನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. Then list of the fundamental duties. It is in Article 51A. See, respect the Constitution and abide by its ideals and institution, including the national flag and national anthem. So we have to respect our Constitution. So this is one of the things. Then cherish and follow the noble ideas of our freedom fighters. So this is also one of the things. And uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. See, ಒಂದು UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ I think 17 or 18, I am not able to exactly recall the date, they have asked ಇಷ್ಟೇ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾವರ್ನಿಟಿ, ಯೂನಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಯಾವ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ DPSP or fundamental rights or like duties or some they gave randomly article. So you should know this. ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಸಾವರ್ನಿಟಿ, ಯೂನಿಟಿ, ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು. I think another option it is about 42nd Constitutional Amendment ಇದೆ, because 42nd Constitutional Amendment ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ 3 ಶಬ್ದಗಳು ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ 42nd ಇದೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ಸಾವರ್ನಿಟಿ, ಯೂನಿಟಿ, ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಇವರು ನಮ್ದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಟಿವ್ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಬೀಟ್ MP or MLAs, ಅವರು oath take while they are taking an oath, they take the oath. Okay, so they also in that oath the sovereignty, unity and integrity ಅಂತ oath ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ. So you should know this comes under the fundamental duties. Then defend the country and remember render national service when required. I told Article 23rd ಅಲ್ಲಿ we have a right against the exploitation, trafficking ಮತ್ತೆ forced labor ಅನ್ನ ರದ್ದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ when there is an insurrection, when there is a war. At that time we as a citizen, if the service has to give to our country, at that time we as a citizen should give the service. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ NSS, NCC ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ದಟ್ the students will give towards our country's empowerment. So we know another article to promote harmony and spirit of the common of all the people, transcending religion, language, caste, region and renounce practice derogatory practice to the dignity of the woman. ಇದನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಸಿ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, ಬಿಟ್ ದಿ ರಿಲಿಜನ್, ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ಯೋರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್, ಯೋರ್ ರೀಜನ್, ಯಾವ್ದು ಜೆಂಡರ್, ಈ ತರ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್, ಮೇಕ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿಕಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೀವ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಬ್ರದರ್ಹುಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ dignity of the women should be respected and should be protected ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So we know the woman faces a lot many challenges from her birth from her womb to death till death. So the every citizen of India, okay, every citizen of India, whether it is within your four corners of the home or even within, even outside, when a woman is facing some issues, then the citizen of India will have as a duty, you should to protect our duty. So nowadays we take so many things in a granted way. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ರೀಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ನ್ಯೂಸೆನ್ಸ್ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಅವರ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we all the citizens can live in a harmonical and a peaceful way. So this is also one of the objective of the fundamental duty. Then preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. So here composite culture is nothing but, see, we have different culture, we have different religion, we have different rituals, we have different ceremonies. So what fundamental duties is telling is protect protect that diversity and promote those diversity, so that India, the diversity is the diversity of the country is enjoyed among the all the sections of the citizen, and also to help our future generation against the monopoly culture. Monopoly of the culture agutte, we can see lot many challenges. We know monopoly of culture in various western countries. Okay, so in order to contain that monopoly of the culture, so we have a concept of composite culture, where we have every mile India has a different culture. So what the duty is, protect and promote your particular culture whatever it is. So the next duty it is to protect and improve our natural environment, including forest, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and have compassion for living creatures. So we know one of recent judgment Supreme Court pass ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು that is I think it is related with Ganga river ansutte. So Ganga river has given a living entity. Okay, if there is a harm, if there is a pollution, or if there is a harm towards this Ganga river, then it is the offense will be made. The offense will be made as per the offense that is made to the human. Okay, if there is a violation to that Ganga, we have no Ganga rules we have. So there is a one scheme related to that. So if there is a violation against Ganga river, then that person or that particular organization or that particular industry will be convicted just like a human beings. So the Ganga river has made as a living entity. So this is one of the reform, the changes that the Supreme Court has brought in the lines of fundamental duties. So then again we have one more concept of develop scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform. So creativity, in order to boost our creativity, the concept of scientific temper is nothing but to make more creative and diversify in our thinking, critical analysis, and more to boost our critical analysis thing and to make more creativity. This concept of scientific temper has been put into the fundamental duties. Okay, so we know we have Atal thinking labs anta ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. So what is the objective of Atal thinking labs is mainly to promote the scientific temper among the students of this be it elementary ಇರ್ಬೋದು, higher education ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ತರ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಟು enhance the scientific temper among the students, so that they become more efficient and empowered, and they become more creative when they grow up. So such kind of institutions has been established by the state. Okay, so to enhance the scientific temper, then again safeguard the public property and abstain from violence. So we know ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೋರಾಟ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ. Then again we have strive towards excellence in all the spheres of individual and collective activity. So we should be excellent in all the spheres. Okay, so here in this is we should be good in all the things. So that is the meaning this duty. Then this was added through the 86th amendment. Provide opportunities for education children between 6 to 12. Here it is talking about the opportunities to the children. So there in fundamental duties it is about the compulsory elementary education up to 14. But whereas in DPSP it was about the early childhood care and education. Whereas in fundamental duty it is to provide opportunities for education to the children. Okay, so we have discussed about the fundamental duties. Then any doubt in fundamental duties? I hope you don't have any doubt. So we'll move to the next chapter of amendment of the constitution. See, ಈ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಕ್ಕಂದ್ರೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆರ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So here amendment of the constitution is nothing but something addition or deletion to our constitution. So we have somewhere around 412 articles we have, and we have 25 parts, 12 schedules we have. Okay, if there is an addition to this article, okay, if there is an addition to this part, if there is an addition to the schedules, then that is called as an amendment of the constitution. Amendment of the constitution is nothing but if they wanted to add anything in our constitution, or if they want to repeal or delete something in our constitution, that comes under the concept of amendment of the constitution. Okay, here see, amendment of the constitution has mentioned under the article 368. ಸುಮಾರು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ article 368 is about ಅಂತ. So article 368, it is about the amendment of the constitution. So in the first class itself I have told amendment of the constitution we have borrowed from the South African constitution. ಈ ಸತಿ KS prelims ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಏನು amendment of the constitution has been borrowed from ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಜರ್ಮನಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಜಪಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ದೆನ್ ಸೌತ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೌತ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾ is one of the least developing country. So why will be the South Africa anta? But the thing is here the answer is South Africa. If people have read, then they will mark a right. So the feature, like the procedure to amendment of the constitution has been borrowed from the South Africa, and that is mentioned under the article 368. Okay, in this article 368 it has discussed about the procedure to amend the constitution. So here I will discuss about the procedure to amend the constitution. See, be it okay, amendment of the constitution can be brought in the parliament. Okay, this you should know. Okay, if the changes in the constitution should bring, that should brought by the parliament. Here we know in parliament we have two different types of members. One is private member as well as the a member and public. You cannot take as a public member, just like private member or private member is the one who is not holding any portfolio. He mainly belongs to opposition party. Okay, the other member is the one who just take it as a public member itself. He is the one who is holding a portfolio. Okay, so in parliament, we know we have two houses, that is Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Okay, so if the if the amendment of the constitution needs to bring, it can be brought in either house of the parliament. Okay, so it can be brought by either of the member. So this two important things you should remember. Okay, so the next thing is the parliament will bring an amendment to the constitution. Okay, so say for an example, we know 106 constitutional amendment. So it was bought somewhere around in 1990s. ದೇವೇಗೌಡ ಅವರು ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ if this amendment is passed by this house, then it will go to the Lok Sabha, and if it is passed again here, then it will go to the president. Okay, if it is introduced in Lok Sabha, then it will go to Rajya Sabha, then again from here it will go to president. So this is the procedure. Okay, here see there are minimum criteria. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ minimum criteria, if see we know we have in Rajya Sabha we have 252 total strength, here we have 552 total strength. So here there are different types of majority. Simple majority anta ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ majority ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ majority with ratification of states ಅಂತ ಈ ಮೂರು ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇ ಲೋಕಸಭಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಓಕೆ, ಇವಾಗ ವಿ ನೋ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 3 sessions. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ we have another is monsoon then we have budget session, then we have winter session. During winter sessions most of the time members absent ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಿಯರ್ 252 ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇದ್ದಿತ್ತು ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ 100 ಅಷ್ಟು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೆರಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ 200 ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 150 to 200. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಟು ಸೇ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಬಿಲ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಬಿಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಈ ಎರಡು ಹೌಸಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಹೌಸಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎನ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ವೆರಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು 3 ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಮೂಲಕ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ವಿತ್ ರಾಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಯರ್ ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ 250 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ 250 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆ ದಿನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ 50% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಅವರು ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆವಾಗ ಆ ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗೇನ್ 50% ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನ ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ, ವೋಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಗಿವ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ then it will go to the president. At that time if that, then president will have rights like veto rights ide, pocket veto he has, then he has absolute veto now. So either president give an assent to the constitutional amendment or he can send back to the respective house. Okay, so this is what I mean to say here is constitutional amendment. Okay, constitutional amendment which comes under the article 368 can make through 3 different process. One is through simple majority irbodu, next one is through special majority with states anta helidini. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಸೇ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಈ ಮೂರು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 252 ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ದಿನ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆ ದಿನ in order to take the proceedings of the house, minimum 1/10 of the members should be present all the times. Okay, 1/10 of the members should be present in respective houses. So say for an example, on that day there are 100 members. Okay, 100 members present agidre minimum 50 members should pass that bill. If it is passed by that 50 members, then this chairman, okay, I am talking about here Rajya Sabha. Okay, Rajya Sabha alli chairman another house ಗೆ, that is Loka Sabha. Okay, again Loka Sabhadalli again we know 552 members idare. Idralli minimum ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ 200 ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, 200 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ದಿನ. ಓಕೆ, 200 ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ 100 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಸೈನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಯಾವ್ದ್ಯಾವ್ದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ದಿ ಸೀಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ. seats in Rajya Sabha alli seats in Rajya Sabha, that is enhancing the seats in Rajya Sabha alli increase ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ that is also through simple majority that can be done. Then again one more is citizenship act ಅಲ್ಲಿ changes or amendment ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಆ ಬಿಲ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೋ section 6B, okay, that was passed through simple majority. Okay, so this is all about the simple majority. So the next concept we have special majority. ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಏನು, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Then we have special majority. We have Rajya Sabha and we have Loka Sabha. So this is 252, here it is 552. So this is the member. So see here so minimum anta irutte. Okay, minimum is 1/10. 1/10 is nothing but 1/10 of 255. Take for example 45 to 50, that should be. Okay, so no, not like that. Idu total strength bandu 252. Okay, total strength ಇದ್ರದ್ದು 50% ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 252, 50% ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಂಟ್. ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 552, 50% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಂಟ್. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ it will pass to the president. If that president accept it, then that constitutional amendment can be brought. Here for example, okay, so example is ಏನಾದ್ರೂ changes ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ DPSP ಗೆ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ವಿತ್ ratification of states anta ide. Okay, here see this special majority, we know special majority what it is anta. So that is 50% of its members. Okay, 50% of its member. If it is passed by Rajya Sabha and Loka Sabha, then this should be passed by all. This should be given to the respective state. We have 28 states. Okay, 28 states alli 14 state, okay, that is half of the state should pass. Okay, should pass and respective constitutional amendment. Okay, respective constitutional amendment ಈ pass ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ then it will go to the president. Okay, if president gives an assent, at that time that will particular constitutional amendment will come into the force. Okay, so here an example, best example and ಯಾವ್ದಂದ್ರೆ GST, which is under the constitutional amendment through 101 constitutional amendment they have brought. Here what it was, see, it was passed with a special majority and it was given to the state. It was like almost 2-3 years 17 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 2-3 years ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು GST ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಸೊ special majority with ratification is nothing but the 50% of the members of that respective assembly should pass and should be given to the states, and again half of the states, okay, half of the states, we have 28 states. Among the 28 states, 14 states should pass that we are accepting the provisions of the bill. Okay, if it is passed by 14 states and if it is given to the president, the president, either president can give an assent to the respective constitutional amendment. So this is the procedure, okay, how we can bring on a constitutional amendment. So this I told you know, this special majority and special majority with ratification of state, this is a rigid in nature. Okay, rigid, I told in the silent features of the constitution we have two different concepts, that is rigid constitution and flexible constitution. Rigid constitution is the one where the constitutional amendment cannot bring just like an ordinary law, but whereas simple majority, that is constitutional amendment can be bring just like a ordinary law, that comes under the flexible part. Okay, flexible part is the one, the amendment of the constitution can be done easily just like an ordinary law, but here rigid is nothing but a complex procedure where a minimum number of members should be passed and should be assented. At that time, that becomes a rigid things to adopt in our constitution. So we know this have been from the American Constitution, and the flexible part of the constitution we have taken from the British Constitution. So this is the entire thing about the amendment procedure to the constitution. So we'll discuss about the some of the constitutional amendment that have been brought in the recent past. Okay, so we know this, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ಈ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ. 100 ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್, 100 ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. Okay, LBA is nothing but land boundary agreement. Okay, so land boundary agreement. So it is about a land boundary agreement. What it is talking about? It is exchange of enclaves between India and Bangladesh. So India and Bangladesh. So you should know what is the objective of 100 constitutional amendment. It is talking about the LBA. It is a land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh. The next constitutional amendment is 101. Okay, here it is talking about the GST. Okay, goods and service tax. Okay, which is a buzzword in it's a buzzword. I think you all would have heard about the GST. Okay, through this thing they have added some of the article. See, ಈ article ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, as you know, this is they have bought in 2017 and this is it was a previous ತುಂಬಾ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ದೇ ವೋಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ 101 ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ 269A ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ GST ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನ್ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ? GST ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ 101 constitutional amendment. So we know what is GST council. So GST council is nothing but a members who all be the members in this council. It is all the chief ministers of the state as well as the our finance minister of the central government will be the chairperson, as well as the members includes the ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಈ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ಗೆ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 103. ಓಕೆ, 103 ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿ 10% ಅಷ್ಟು ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ EWS. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿ ನೋ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ವೀಕರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾರ್ದು 8 lakhs ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 8 lakhs ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, ಮತ್ತೆ 5 acres ಗಿಂತ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 5 acres 5 acres ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅವರು ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, ಹಾಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರ್ದು ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1000 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, ಈ ಮೂರು categories ಅನ್ನ they cannot enjoy the benefits of economically weaker sections. Okay, if they have less than this, then those sections of the society can take a benefits of economically weaker sections reservation benefits. So this is under the article 3 constitutional amendment 103. See how you can remember is, see E ಅನ್ನ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ, ಸೊ 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 103 ಹಂಗೆ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 104 ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 104 ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ವೈ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ giving an extension of reservation to SC, ST and OBC. Okay, article constitutional 104, it is about the extension of reservation to whom? It is for SC, SCs, ST and OBCs. And again one more change that what they have brought through this constitutional amendment is Anglo-Indians anta. I think Anglo-Indians were both in state legislative as well as the in parliament, they had given a certain numbers were given for the Anglo-Indians. So this they have been taken out, they have been deleted these provisions. So now this community will no longer enjoy reservation now. Okay, so article 104, it is about the extension of SC/ST's reservation. Then here again 105 constitutional amendment, it is about the the state. Okay, the state government. Okay, the state government can identify as well as can restore. Okay, restore the OBC, classify the OBCs categories. So article 105 constitutional amendment, it is pertaining to the state. Okay, the state can identify or restore the OBCs. So then again article 106. Okay, this article 106 constitutional amendment, it is nothing but Nari Shakti Vandanam Adhiniyam anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ 1/3, okay, 1/3 of the seats are reserved to women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly and state legislative assemblies of Delhi and Puducherry. ಅನ್ನ ಈ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ 1/3 of the seats have been reserved to women. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 330A. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 330A, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ವುಮೆನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 332, it is in state legislative assembly. Then again we have article 239AA. Okay, it is reservation in union territories that have a legislative assembly. And one more article is 334A. So idralli 15 years escape clause kottidare. Okay, ಸನ್ಸೆಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಾರಿ, ನಾಟ್ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸನ್ಸೆಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಲೈಕ್ ವೆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಟು ಟಿಲ್ 15 years, ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ 106. So idralli they have asked in many of the exam what is about the 106 constitutional amendment, but I don't think that they will ask such thing, but they may ask you which articles they have inserted through the article through the constitutional amendment act of 106. So this four things, four, 330A, 332, 332, then 339A, and again 334A. You should remember all this article. Okay, so some of the important constitutional amendment which are important for your exam is, see, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So why it is important? Because it is called as a mini constitution ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, why mini constitution ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, because so many changes. Say for an example, preamble ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 words ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ, that is sis ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay, secular, integrity and socialist principle, ಈ ಮೂರನ್ನೇ preamble ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. And again through this fundamental duties also were added. And again ಇದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಲವಾರು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಥ್ರೂ 42nd ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ DPSP ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ that was brought through the 42nd amendment, it is called as a mini constitution ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Then again we have 44th constitutional. This is why it is right to property. Okay, the right to property, which was a fundamental right under the Article 31, that was that was made as a legal right in the Article 300A. Okay, so that was brought under the 44th Constitutional Amendment. Then again we have 93rd Constitutional Amendment. Okay, this is about the panchayats. Okay, Panchayat Raj system. Then again we have 94th Constitutional Amendment. It is about the municipalities. Then we have 97th Constitutional. It is about the cooperative. So ಇಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ DPSP ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್. ಟುಮಾರೋ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇವಾಗೇನೆ. ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್, ಸಿ, there are some provisions which cannot be abrogated or which cannot be bring a constitutional amendment to those features. Okay, so basic structure is nothing but the constitutional amendment cannot bring to those features of the constitution or to the principle of those constitution. Okay, this was brought under the Keshwananda Bharati case. Okay, Keshwananda Bharati case came in 1972. So he laid out the principle of basic structure of the constitution. So in this judgment what they have said is, the basic fundamentals of the constitution cannot bring a change to the constitutional amendment at the heltare. Okay, this is only about the basic structure of the constitution. So tomorrow we'll go to the new chapter, that is the federal system of the government, where we will discuss about the federal feature of the constitution as well as the parliamentary form of the government. Then again, if possible, I'll try to do with the president also. Sorry, central state relation anta ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ ಮೂರು try to complete tomorrow. So if you have any doubts in today's class, you can have a question. And again, you will have tomorrow test on this 4 chapters. Okay, you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll wind the class.